Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. The real 1% man. Look, I'm gonna tell you what, I've seen, recently I started looking at a lot of these videos or skimming through them and about the 1%er, because that's the thing now. That's the thing. Used to be a 20%er, but it keeps going down to that 1%er. And you get random guys talking about, yeah, well, this is how to be a 1%er. And, you know, you got to have these personality traits and you got to look this way. And, you know, and the main thing is getting women, getting women. And, you know, they talk about partying, having these boats and shit. You know what? Some guys up there talking about it or showing all that, you might be maybe above average, but not a 1%er. See, first of all, it's a totally different level. Now understand where I'm coming from. Now I know y'all see me in the car videos and everything, but I've been around like real power. I've been around it, been on the edges of it, you know. Maybe if I chose a different path, could truly be among them. But I'm not there now. And like I said, if I chose a different path. And I get into how to really get among them. But here's the thing. The true 1% man, he's on another level. He's on another level. And in fact, really, he's less likely to be on that typical social media star. Social media stars, like, cause they'll say, yeah, they got all these followers and stuff. It's like y'all entertainers. Somebody can snatch your channel with a snap of a finger. Thanos snap, your channel's gone. Let's be real. See, the real 1% men, they got power. They move a certain way. They got a certain vibration, you know. And I've known a few scores of them. I've known them, been around them, and like I said, just on the outskirts. It would take an extraordinary, and you know, but the thing is, you got some guys online who will say, yeah, you could do this, you do this. They bullshitting you. They bullshitting. The vast majority of men will not get to that level. You talking 1%? 1%er? Because the main thing is power. Understand where that typical 1% man is gonna come from. He's coming from a powerful family to start off with. He's been bred since childhood. Really, since he came out the damn womb to be at that top level. And when we say 1%, it's more accurate to say the 0.1%. Like people talk about the 1%ers and stuff, and people know about the money part, but like I said, most people haven't been around those types to actually acknowledge their behavior. Now, when you see some of these YouTube stars and stuff saying, oh, I'm a 1%er, but some of the stuff they get into, 1% is above all that. You know, 1%ers, true 1%ers are above all of that. Because we talking power, we talking that level of power that controls cities, controls governments, controls economies. And typically, when they really get to that level, they typically ain't young guys in their 20s. Unless they are the scion of powerful families. Like some of those rich families, old money families. And like I said, they're trained since childhood. You think about it, when you get those powerful families, those children are they put their children into elite preschools. Like you gotta pay. They paying more for those preschools than most people gonna make in a year, a few years. So their whole education, starting their education, preschools, private schools, elite prep schools, elite colleges. So it's like, first of all, then they being bred for power to the point they can take over. They're the people who run this world. Those are men who run the world. And they just have a big YouTube following or partying or something, you know? Now, if you say maybe if the guys were just saying maybe top 20% or something, I'd be like, okay. But 1%, come on. And then somebody taking up the video and they feel like, yeah, I might be able to get it. Okay, if I do this, this, and this. Best you can do is be a better man. Best you can do. 1%, that's something different. Now, like I said, we're talking real power. They move different. They move with power. They're not sitting around complaining about feminists or women or 304s or something. Because they operate at another level. And in fact, when you talk 1% of the woman, that's not a major issue with them. In fact, at that level, they ain't worried about a bunch of women like being 304s or running around out here. At that level, just when you're dealing with the true 1%ers, even when they're young, they're not sitting around talking about some game or something like that. They part of networks. They're part of networks where the woman, she's going to be a part. She got to be a part of that network. And it's not going to be some random woman. And indeed, you can see evidence of it on like certain elite colleges. When they have these fraternities and sororities mixing. Shoot, a lot of these sororities, they just breeding grounds for the wives of these powerful men. And when these women meet the men, it's not like on the street, hey, girl, and all of that. No, they probably meet in under certain circumstances. And the women, they gotta be at a certain level. They gotta be maybe they're not at that 0.1% level, but I say the rest of it, the 9.9, they gotta probably be in that 10% coming from that type of family or something. And it's usually they're gonna be in a position, you know? And in fact, because of the networks and everything, these men ain't worried about it. These men ain't worried about where they're gonna meet the women. It ain't gonna be some random thing. And they sure as hell ain't gonna be complaining about it. Now, let me real quick. Now, I'll say it, it's most of the 1%, they're pretty much born into a powerful family. Most of them. And they've been bred since they were children. Literally bred since they were children to lead, to be powerful. Now you get that rare man who could get into there. But let me break something down with that. For him to get in there, he had to be one of those guys who was talented from birth. Talented. He might have been born in a poor neighborhood or something, but he has to have talent to get there. Talent enough to get into the beginnings of those networks. Talent enough to maybe get that scholarship to that elite prep school or something like that. And then be able to truly connect and then build himself up to get into other networks. Because I'm going to tell you what, see, that's another thing too. That's a major thing. We're talking the least, everything is networks for him. Who you know. You know, I remember I met this young lady. I don't know if she was back in college. She was one of my first friends. I don't know if her family was 0.1%, but they were up there. And I never forget what she told me. She said, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. And she was a powerful family. And let me break something down, because I thought about it, because I actually looked her up and stuff, and she still looks generally the same in her 50s, and she still looks good. And I was like, it's a mindset. It's a total mindset. Like if you talk about the physicality, because people say, yeah, you got to be super fit to be a 1%er. Okay, but usually they're going to be generally fit anyway. Because they're going to take care of health. They've been playing sports since they were children. You know? Now, if you just some random guy, you in your 20s or 30s, and you haven't come anywhere near like elite networks, elite schools or anything, you probably have a better chance of winning the lottery. Now, y'all would probably say, Ron, why are you breaking all this down? You stemming their hope. No, I'm telling y'all to be realistic. The thing every man should do is just be your best self. Don't worry about that network. Seriously. And I'm saying what I'm saying from it is just knowing some people there and getting glimpses of it. Even touching it a bit. Even dealing with, I ain't gonna say the 0.1%, even dealing with some women who are up there. Because like I said, I got a lot more to me than you might realize. But just made some decisions where I ain't feel like working to even try to get there. I'm just, spiritual reasons, I'll leave it at that. But the thing is, a lot of guys, they thinking, you telling some guys in their 20s and 30s who never even come close to any of these networks or that type of individual, oh yeah, you can be a 1%. Come on, that's bullshit. Look, here's the thing. As a man, work to be your best. Find your path, be your best. All right? And don't get caught up in saying you want to party and everything, got that status. And first of all, let me talk about that status. A lot of those guys at that level move in silence. You don't know what they do. In fact, even some of the richest people in the world, all of them ain't on like some magazine list. A lot of them, they got to be voluntary with that. A whole lot of them aren't. And they just doing their thing quietly. And like I said, let me just say another thing. If you're dealing with that world, it's more than, like I say, it's more than just money. It's more than just a mindset. It's a mindset, how you looking at things, how you dealing with things. It's a behavior. Like you get a situation, let me talk about that woman thing, because you got so many women say, oh, he got to have 500,000 or something like that. As you go up and up, those women won't qualify for a true 1% man. He ain't worried about that like 304 or some of the women that be going on some of these like podcasts and everything. They wouldn't qualify for that type of man. Shoot, the woman has to be, she pretty much got to be bred herself to be with that type. And I've known a few women who were close to her. I think of one in particular, and I remember we were talking about, she was real sweet, but a few of us said, you know what, just the way she carries herself with femininity, she was trained for that. And she was from a family, I don't know if it was totally up there, but I would say at the minimum 9.9%. Like top 10%, at the minimum. So it's a lot to it. It's a lot to it. But see, that's the real thing at the bottom line. You're talking about power. You're talking about men who, if not in position already to influence economies, governments, are working to be. That's the real 1%. You know, so if you some ordinary guy and, you know, at best you might have a college degree and you struggling and stuff, nah. But what you need to do is just focus on being your best self. Don't compare yourself to these guys. Seriously, it's really another world. It's another world. And if I can see that just from interacting with some of them, if I can see that just from there, that means whatever the real shit is on some other level. So, but you don't worry about it. Don't get caught up into that. Worry about being the best version of yourself and the best version of your world, being sovereign in your own world. All right. And like I said, I ain't doing this like to like really break someone's dream or something, but it's like you gotta be realistic out here. You got guys feeling like if they ain't 1%, oh, it's all, come on now, come on. You can still have a worthwhile life. You can still do a lot. Hell, even make $1 million, which is nothing to a true 1%. But look, you can do it. You can still have the best version of your life, have the best control over your life, all right? You know? But you gotta be realistic about where you're at. All right? So anyway, that's all I have for now. I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.